The year is 2015, and the Cars diecast line is in a pretty comfortable and stable place. For the first several years of its run, the line was constantly changing and expanding and trying out new and different things. But starting in 2013, it fell into this very comfortable concept, the series system. Each year, we would receive 12 different series themed to different scenes, themes, and locations from Cars and Cars 2. Each of these series would contain new releases and re-releases based on these different concepts. Some of the series would return each year, such as Radiator Springs and the Piston Cup, but with different items each time. Others would be new in that year. Others would return from previous years, but weren't yearly. For example, the Airport Adventure line appeared in 2013, skipped 2014, and came back in 2015. It was a really solid concept. And while the concept of having all of the items themed to, different themes may make it seem like, things were going to be sort of boxed in. Oh, we could only get cars from this, and this. The series they chose each year were a very good combination of very broad and very specific. Especially in 2015. This year, they really started to do some very specific series. This year gave us the Ye Left Turn In series. You know the pub that Acer and Grem crash into for like 10 seconds at the end of Cars 2? Yeah, that was an entire series. And every single release in that series except for one was brand new. These years gave us some incredibly specific and very fun items, as well as some very necessary ones. This year gave us Determined Lightning McQueen, My Name Is Not Chuck with his tool cart, and finally Larry Camper and Doug RM, as well as the absolutely incredible Pit Crew Mac and fabulous Hudson Hornet with stand, genuinely probably the greatest accessory in the history of this toy line. On the Cars 2 side, we mainly got some more specific items, but we also got some more notable ones, such as Acer with luggage cart, and finally the Wasabi Chefs, surprisingly missing from previous years. The cars this year were genuinely so unique. Acer with luggage cart with his detachable luggage cart, the big RVs from the first Cars movie, Ucchi here, a car that can fit other cars inside of him and was just a regular deluxe. And who could forget Terry Gong, a deluxe that's a pity with a giant plastic gong. They can't all be winners. I think that just this intro can really show you why 2015 and 2016 are two of my favorite years in the history of the entire Cars diecast line. I genuinely love these 2 years because of what they brought to the table. And another thing I really love about them are just how balanced they are. So often we'll see one thing, one theme, one movie, expanded universe line, show fully dominate the new releases for that year on the Cars diecast line. But 2015 and 2016 gave us a pretty good balance of new releases from both movies. We had 17 new releases from Cars 1 this year and about 24 from Cars 2. That's a really nice balance there. Of course, Cars 2 still has more since it was the newer release, but, they understood, hey, Cars 2 has been out for a few years now, so let's sort of balance it out a bit more. That's something that really bothers me about the current Cars diecast line. In 2021, 4 years after Cars 3 came out, every item in the main line except for like 3 were themed to Cars 3. And it's always really bothered me. And since then, we've really had Cars on the Road dominating the line, and then the expanded universe lines for the past few years. But 2015 and 2016 did a really great job at balance. That's something that I, in particular, really care about in the line. I know it's not the same for anyone, but that's certainly part of why I love these years so much. But there's really not all that much to say about the history of 2015, 2016, and the early 2017 line. It really is just more of the same, just, new and different series. This year in particular, the series we got were Piston Cup, Dynaco, a new series for the year, Race Fans, Lost and Found, Radiator Springs, 95 Pit Crew, World Grand Prix, Tokyo Party, Tuners, Airport Adventure, returning from 2013, Ye Left Turn In, and Palace Chaos returning from 2013, as well as the Super Chase series. This year did something interesting with some of the returning series. Race Fans and 95 Pit Crew were both introduced in 2014 as Cars 2 series, but they returned this year as Cars 1 theme series, which was pretty cool and gave us some pretty great new releases. In addition to this main line, we also continued to get Cars Tunes items exclusive to Walmart. You know, everything was pretty much the same for this year, save for the expansion of expanded universe lines. In 2014, we saw the launch of the Neon Racers, which I fully covered in last week's episode of 20 Years of Favorites. This concept of doing a new canon to the Cars universe toy line series. This is something that's super common these days, but 2014 was really the first time that it happened, having this sort of multimedia toy line with books and other such things that all tie together. And 2015 really took this idea and expanded on it with the launch of the Ice Racers, a brand new line that, unlike the Neon Racers, covered the entire World Grand Prix lineup and also re-themed these new World Grand Prix race lines as the TROC, Transcontinental Race of Champions, setting up a brand new in-universe Cars storyline exclusively in the merchandise, and also in some books and other tie-ins. This really paved the way, no car pun intended, for what we see with expanded universe lines today, and became a standard thing. Not a year will go by now without some sort of expanded universe toy line. The TROC was also super cool because it replaced the World Grand Prix logos on the World Grand Prix racers, which was a really nice touch, because why would you still be wearing them after, you know, the World Grand Prix is over and all that junk went down? It was some really great and cool world building, just a really fun thing to do. In addition to that, the Neon Racers came back this year, now exclusive to Kmart though, and also the Silver Racers from 2012 returned, now retconned as being part of the TROC. This year also saw the return of the Color Changers line, and also the slow death of the Plains diecast line, but we'll talk about that another time. All right, I've done enough rambling, enough talking this intro. You guys know I love 2015, so let's talk about my favorite item from this year, one of my favorite Cars diecasts of all time. You've been looking at him the whole time. He's not only the car used on my background, he's also my favorite item for the year. It's the one and only Ucchi. Hello everybody, and welcome back to 20 Years of Favorites, the series where I go over my favorite Cars diecast from each year to celebrate 20 years of the franchise. Oh my gosh, that intro was so long. I just did the hello everybody at 8 minutes in. Wow. I went into this video being like, there's not much to say about 2015. I guess there was. Hi guys, hope you're doing well. I'm sorry I missed 20 Years of Favorites last night. I was pretty busy doing some stuff, and I wasn't able to make the video, but I'm here, and Ucchi's here, and I love this car so much. I talk about it very often. This is just one of the coolest things I think the Cars diecast line has ever made. You hear how high up my voice is going? I'm raising several octaves, guys. I'm like making fanboy talk noises at this point. I'm not even making coherent sentences. Maybe it's because it's 80 degrees outside and my air conditioner isn't on. Maybe it's because Ucchi is just that cool. Ucchi is, of course, an airport truck. The type of truck that connects the airport to the plane. So, yeah, he's basically this living ramp. Most of him is plastic. Just the front here is metal. But, wow, what a striking and unique item here. And what just a cool thing to make a toy of, right? Like, what a cool thing to put in the Cars diecast line. As a ramp, he actually functions. You can actually fit cars inside of Ucchi, which I'll demonstrate in just a minute. And a lot of them do fit. It fully functions. Again, what a cool thing to make in the toy line. And one of the best parts about this, it was just a regular old deluxe. It wasn't a hauler. It wasn't a playset. No, just a regular item in the deluxe line. You could get him in the store when you were buying Terry Gong. No offense to Terry Gong. I'm sorry for the Terry Gong slander in this episode. Taking a look at Ucchi, of course, we've got his little face down here, which is absolutely dwarfed by the massive ramp tube right above him. I really like his facial expression. It may seem a bit odd considering the car you're looking at, but it does seem to be based on the scene we see him in very briefly in Cars 2. They just kind of drive past him during the whole airport chase sequence, so he's got kind of this snarl because, you know, what's going on, interrupting his job of letting cars drive inside of him. Moving on to the side, we have the Sam Air Eye logo, which is just such a corny pun. It's just like, it's such a stupid pun, but it is honestly a pretty clever and funny one. And like I said before, all of this back part is plastic. You could actually see mine has some sort of chips and dents and that weird discoloration that plastic gets when other things sort of smash into it all over. Unfortunately, Ucchi is a car that I wanted so much. I saw a video on him back in 2015, and I literally checked Toys R Us. I wasn't actively collecting cars at the time, but every time I went to Toys R Us, which was about once every weekend back then, I would always check the cars aisle specifically for Ucchi. A year later, I'd never found him, and my parents surprised me one day by picking him up. So shout out my parents. Yeah. This is one that I've really cherished. It's just such a super cool item, and I also have some pretty fun and funny memories connected to it. Funnily enough, I think this is the first time that the item I'm talking about is one that I do have sort of a personal connection to. Most of them have just been cars from each year that I think are super cool. I really, really like the detail here of the part that connects the ramp to the airplane. It's something that I don't think I realized was there at first, but yeah, that sort of curve, that's because this is supposed to sink up to the side of the plane. Unfortunately, there's not really a plane it can do that with. Maybe the big Everett they did in 2012, but you know, it's not like there was a corresponding playset designed to fit with Ucchi. It's just a detail to make him accurate. We've got some caution stickers here. Never the biggest fan of how obviously these were stickers. You know, they do look just a lot like stickers, which they are, but it's fine, you know, they're not gonna come off or anything. On the back, we have these sort of open flaps, and you can get a good look inside of Ucchi. I love that he even has windows. Like, what a cool detail. The guy even has windows with bars on them. You could even see this support beam here. I just love how this thing turned out. It's genuinely such a well-made, well-designed item. It's such a fun, unique Cars diecast, and it's just such a fun toy because, again, it actually works as a ramp. You can fully load cars in, they can drive up Ucchi, and they can pop on out the other side. Of course, this doesn't work for everyone. Cars of a certain height are not going to fit. Obviously, you're not going to fit Mater in there. But a lot of cars with sort of this profile can make it in. McQueen, let me grab a random McQueen. What McQueen are we grabbing? Congratulations, 2021 Dynaco McQueen color changer. You're the next contestant on Can You Drive an Ucchi? Yes. I remember distinctly from that old video I saw on this item that Finn McMissile can't fit. He's just a little bit too tall, which is unfortunate because he is, you know, one of the main characters of Cars 2. But hey, they didn't have to design this to let anything go through, you know? Raul here is going to struggle. Oh, wait, no, he fits, actually. Wow, okay. So Finn is taller than... Weird. Okay. But yeah, like Mater. Let's get a Mater just for fun. What's a Mater that's a normal Mater height? Let's see. It's... No, definitely not. That's a road trip Mater. He was intentionally built to look taller. It's Fireball Beach Racers Mater original version. Dadgum. Oh no, it's Mater's mouth. Ucchi, run! It's Mater's mouth! He's trying to get in! Ucchi, get out of here, man! Ah! Yeah, so, not everything is gonna work, obviously, but man, what a fun thing. And it's just so fun to go through and test what items can fit. One of the simple pleasures in life, okay? Things with wheels going down ramps. Where would we be? Where would we be without the ability to do that? Guido, you want to ride? You're not gonna fit, so I'm sending you in sideways, okay? Guys. This car is a slide. This car is a slide for other cars. Like how cool is that? Okay? This is just such a fun concept. Like I said, it's not only a super cool, unique thing to do for the Cars diecast line, it's just a really cool toy. How can you complain? It's Ucchi, and it's one of my favorites of all time. We go from one of my favorite items of all time to my favorite year of all time next week when we take a look at 2016. There you have it, guys. This is Ucchi. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for another episode of 20 Years of Favorites, where this time, I promise I will finally talk about planes. It'll be too late, but I'll talk about it next week, I promise. Bye now.